Back like we never left, 94 feet of life. Thank y'all for tuning in to the NBA Draft Edition, and thank you for being back with us today. Before we get into the proceedings, remember, if you're on Instagram, lowercase THE period SCEN, the dot scene. If you're on Twitter, SCEN underscore THE, that's the Twitter page. YouTube, if you're watching the channel, you should be subscribed. Your notifications should be on. Like the video. We got a special guest with us. We talk about basketball never stops, and we are 5 days away, as of the day we tape this, from the NCAA season kicking off. We're gonna talk about everything that's involved with the season, the impact of COVID. We had to bring our main man on, but before we bring him into the conversation, I'm gonna swing this somewhere between Dayton, Columbus, Cincinnati. He's somewhere in there. I don't know. It's my main man, Germ. Germ, what's happening, man?
Hey man, look, man, we just here as we see. We got some Germage claims that we're gonna need to pick up on today. I just want y'all to know I'm in the bag as usual. Hey man, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead kick it down there somewhere down there. But they got barbecue nachos. It's going. Just
Man,
going down there to Memphis. Go and kick it to my guy Jay Ham.
Hey, in this case, man, with me for the day, I got my bag, but my bag ain't nothing but it's not for delivery. It's for what I'm gonna take in the game wise. Because I'm just gonna swing it over to MJ because he gonna introduce himself and introduce our guest that we got for the day. So, magic behind the backstyle to the GOAT.
hey man, if y'all don't know me by now, then I don't know what to tell you. So you know how we get down. M drop the J fadeaway perfect. We live on the scene. You know how clean we get with it. 94 feet of life. Make sure you check out the Twitter, the YouTube, Instagram. We are literally out here all the time. And the guest that we have, his reputation precedes him. He is the owner of G2 Hoops, in which he has brought marketing, scouts, coaching, connections to this game of basketball in the Northwest Indiana region. He has also been responsible for bringing over guys across the pond to come and go to high school here, train here. He's worked with Egypt. He's also worked with Nike, worked with a lot of the people behind the scenes that most of you guys are going to want to work with if you have a kid that is interested in playing basketball. So, without further ado, I bring to you my brother, Greg Jones the second. Holla at the people, Greg.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know what I'm saying? We here. It's all love. We're going to get to it. I think that a lot of gems are going to be dropped by everyone this episode. That's just, hey, we still doing, dealing with the pandemic. Everybody getting a little itchy for basketball season, college edition to be here. So we here. Let's talk.
Well, Greg, thank you for definitely joining on. We know this is a busy time for you working in your line of work, but thank you for dropping in. So let's start right there. COVID and college basketball. It seems to be, as we're taping, there's so many even moving parts still. A lot of coaches are even saying, "Hey, we ain't really ready to start playing right now. We would really rather start playing after Christmas." From the people that you just talked to in the game, what is kind of the feeling around this season and just the uncertainty of it from what I can basically kind of get?
Well, it's interesting, man. Like I'm gonna say it's interesting because I actually had a college event that was planned, was going to happen, and we had to shut it down because the NCAA said they were only going to have teams play X amount of games this year. So that allowed University of Louisville, which is one of the women's team, which was one of the teams that was going to participate in my event. I think they only get 24, 25 games this year, but 20 of those games is the ACC. So they doubled up on games, So it's interesting because, like I said, I'm on both sides. I'm an event director. I had an event that I've been working on for the last 18 months. And we just couldn't do it because they were like, we don't, just talking about some of the different hassles, like some of your bigger conferences or schools that have those big budgets, they're testing their kids 3 or 4 times a week. right? And then you got other schools, they're okay, if you don't feel good, then we test you, right? And some of those bigger schools is like, hey, if you can't test the amount of times we test, we ain't playing. So what COVID-19 is really is, and it's a trickle effect to the high school level too. But what it's really is doing is that gap that was between the haves versus the have-nots is growing. It's getting bigger, larger, and wider. And it's crazy because, you know, the NCAA, they just announced, I want to say like 2 days ago, that they extended the dead period into April. So that means no college coaches are coming to these high school events, going to these junior college events, and you have kids literally signing their life away on a paper, and they have not stepped foot on a campus. They have not interacted with these coaches in person, and you expect the kids to be professionals in this thing. And everybody already know the whole amateur status of NCAA is a facade. These kids are pros. Let's just call it what it is. Because one of the reasons why they're trying to have a season is because of the amount of money that is generated through the college basketball season. So for me, it's been interesting just trying to keep in loop with the kids that I help, that I train, or that I help mentor, or even the college coaches that I help, or have a some type of rapport with. It's just interesting because everything's just all over the place.
And let me go ahead and ask this question. And I'm gonna ask some tough questions today. I'm just gonna be honest with you. If you can't answer, that's fine, because I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm not trying to have you drop your bag. But these are some questions that I gotta ask. Some of them. First question I have for you. I want to know what your thoughts on the NCAA pretty much saying this year, from an eligibility standpoint, we're just going to wash it out, and how that's going to affect the 2001 kids coming up. And I also want to talk about what it looks like, the possibility of AAU kind of stepping in and having fall leagues and winter leagues, so that kids who can't play are trying to generate film and generate buzz, and the importance of making sure you're playing with somebody who actually already has those connections, because if you don't, you're pretty much lost.
Those are all great questions. All right, so let me try to answer them as best as I can. The first thing is the NCAA basically giving an extra year to the seniors is going to create a lot of tension, right? Because if you have seniors on your roster that are not producing, don't get along with the team, head cases in the locker room, and you're trying to get them out, coaches are about to become very creative on how they get some of these kids up out of their programs. They're going to become extremely creative, and you're going to see kids start to just fall off the face of the earth, all right? And the crazy part about it is, so you mentioned the class of 2021. They're at the bottom of the totem pole right now, because you're giving college kids an extra year. They're going to announce the one-time transfer waiver that you can transfer free as long as you meet the requirements. You can transfer and play right away. And you got the JUCO kids that are coming in immediately with eligibility. Then you got the high school kids, right? So
no, then you got the post-grad kids. Then you got the high school kids.
There you go. And if people don't know, when you talk about post-grad kids, because they already graduated, they can leave at any time during the year at their post-grad and go to the college of their choice. They can leave, right? So I see a lot of rosters are going to be extremely fluid, right? And it's very unfortunate, because if you are a kid that is like on that fence and that high school 2001 high school class, you're on the fence. I've had numerous parents, high school coaches, AAU coaches, kids, and even like other like trainers or just personnel hit me up and say, what should they do? Should they commit now or should they wait? And like I tell them, I said, look, everyone's situation is different. I'm the type of person that I bet on myself. That's me. Everyone might not be like that, right? But you have to make a solid, sound decision. And if you don't have all the information at your disposal, then it's going to be pretty tough. So I think what's going to come out of this is you're going to start to see more parents, more kids become knowledgeable or more knowledgeable on the process, because you have less room that gray area is going to shrink a little bit. So it's like it's going to be hit or miss. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are going to become more knowledgeable on the game. I think, Myron, your next point was when you look at club teams, AAU teams, we just saw Team Sizzle versus Ipsy Prep, Imani Bates versus, Chet. And if the NCAA and the National Federation High School aren't careful, you're going to see, I think, the beginning of the last days of what traditional high school basketball is. Okay. And the reason I say that is because at the end of the day, it's the kids. And when I say that, I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it's the kids. From a recruiting standpoint, it's the kids. From a viewership standpoint, it's the kids. It's not the high school. It's not the athletic director. It's not the principal. It's not the commissioner. It's not the deputy commissioner. It's the kids. And Rashid Ghazi, who's responsible for those games being on ESPN, which a lot of people don't know, Paragon Marketing is in the suburbs of Chicago. He actually did the first high school game, which I think was LeBron versus Melo. Was that the first game that was on ESPN?
It was one of them, yeah.
Yeah. So he all those high school games throughout the last decade or plus, he's been responsible for it. And he cracked the Da Vinci Code. Between him and the people with him, they was like, oh, okay. So California, y'all don't want your high schools to play? Make a club team. Nevada, y'all don't want your high schools to play? Make a club team. And I don't think people thought the response was going to be what it is. And now it's showing that the basketball is one of those sports, one of those industries, businesses that
it's an inelastic product.
It is. And I don't think people realize that, okay, when Dr. Naismith and those people back in the day created all of this, it's no way they had an idea that this is what this was going to turn into. But that normally happens, though, right? Yeah, things evolve, things change, right? Players get stronger, faster, quicker. IP starts to kick in, right? And what we're seeing now is, man, it's a lot of people tuning in to them ESPN high school club showcase games, man. It's a lot.
No, I do.
It's a lot. and you know what else is a byproduct of that? Watch how many club teams and high schools that can't play right now start to sign mega streaming deals for their high school basketball seasons.
Jerm, jump in this, man, because I know you got some questions.
It's not even questions. It's just to piggyback off of some of the things he's saying already. It's still about the dollar. So ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. I don't care that LeBron went to St. Vincent, St. Mary. This is just the high school that's allotted to me to go to right now because this is somewhere I can go. I don't care about who went here before me because my whole goal is not to be LeBron, the next LeBron James. It's to be the best version of myself. But that's just how I think. I'm just, I'm a kick drums. Go ahead, Ham. I'm going to let you go ahead and do your thing.
In the year 2020, all this happened, and it's crazy because from the basketball standpoint, let's go back to 1/1/2020. And what happened on 1/1/2020? We lost David Stern.
Kobe.
No, we lost David Stern.
Oh, yeah.
He was the beginning of the year.
And then the way G just broke that down in terms of the marketing of the players, going back to Bron and Melo and going forward, being on these showcases. Now it's not about O'Keal. It's not about DeMatha. It's not about pick a school. It's about the player. David Stern took the NBA to that next level, marketing the player. Not the you can get to the organization with the Lakers and the Celtics. Those are like historical dynasties. You know what I'm saying with them. But you bring in, this is how you make Zeke a superstar. This is Dr. J was a superstar walking in. Market that. He put that then from where the game was being on tape delay. Now it's live. Live everywhere, streaming, league pass. And the high school game has just moved to that era as well. And it's funny because we talked about this just amongst us that COVID, the pandemic in general, was going to force evolution in everything. And we sit there talking to G, look at the gems we did already given. We ain't been rolling with number what, about 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
So it's already live. Big Shot, go ahead, man.
And G, something you said is something that, I mean, you know the business of this and the ins and outs of this way more than I do. But I've always kind of in the back of my mind been of a similar vein to you, where I always thought at some point in our lifetime, which maybe even 10 years, what we know as high school basketball is going to completely disappear. That city high versus good old state high, that's going to be dead sooner than we think. And not that I want you to predict the demise of traditional high school basketball, but are there things going on that you can talk about? Because I know we got to keep you out of trouble. Where AAU becomes during the basketball season. So as we know, basketball is a winter to spring sport, where the Peach Jam winter edition, or we have Nike ABCD Camp, Adidas ABCD Camp winter edition. Do you think that's something that's in the works, or from what you may know? Again, I know you can't tell us a bunch of stuff, but what you think, what you just kind of reading the tea leaves.
Right. I would say it's interesting you mentioned it, how you phrased it. So what's going on right now at the high school level is your Oak Hill, your Lalus, Sunrises, the Mather, those types of schools. They've actually created their version of an EYBL circuit for the high school season.
They evolved too.
Yep.
Right. So it's a power move, right? So they're going to I can't remember how many games they play, because it's kind of like they created like their own conference league or whatever the case is. Like I said, I can't remember how many games they're going to play, but they have various cities that they're going to play in. So session 1 might be in DC. Session 2 might be I don't know, Ohio, whatever it is. I'm not sure. So the premier powers in high school basketball, like your DeMathas, your Oak Hills, Mountain Birds, those type of schools, they're going to evolve right along with this thing, mainly because those are the incubators, right? At the end of the day, unless things change at the NCAA, you still got to go to an accredited high school, right? You still got to get the grades. You still got to do certain checkpoints that you have to do to get to the next level. Now, what you're going to start to see is, and it can be private, charter, or public school, does not matter. You're going to start to see kids take flight and start to try to go to those premier schools if they're good enough. Okay. And if they're not good enough, what's probably going to happen is kids are going to start to play more club basketball year round. Okay. With the hope and promise of, if I do this, then I can get a scholarship. Because what a lot of people are not talking about, you see it at the collegiate level, those athletic departments' budgets are tapped. Well, if the collegiate athletic budgets are tapped, what you think them high school athletic budgets looks like? A lot of high schools, just like at the collegiate level, it's all the same thing. They depend on basketball and football, right, to service and maintenance the entire athletic department.
Right.
And if they're not bringing in any money, hey, we can't have swimming. Hey, we can't have golf. Hey, we can't have ping pong. Hey, we can't have badminton.
Cornhole.
And you're already struggling with the level of participation at the youth level anyways, at some of these high schools.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So some of these high schools are going to come null and void just by being a byproduct of this pandemic and people leaving to go elsewhere for other opportunities.
This legit triggered my brain to go a million directions, and I can't share this with y'all because I don't want nobody taking my ideas. But I think I'm dead serious. I think this is opening up a lot of avenues for a lot of different things to occur. And,
absolutely, I agree because I'm on the same thing you own.
Yeah, we're gonna talk outside of this, but but the NBA, what they did was, with their bubble, what they showed was this product was inelastic. To be able to put some of the best qualifying teams together who had to literally stop playing basketball for 2 months, throw them in pretty much a bubble during baseball, football, and the highest level of sports month in October, and you still get those ratings, that tells you everything you need to know about the importance of basketball in this country.
And to piggyback off of that, I could say it because we've already had those discussions with the powers that be that run that. What you might see at the collegiate level, if depending on how long this thing lasts, when you talk about COVID-19 and how we evolve out of this, right? What you might see, everybody remember the PK80?
Yeah.
What you might start to see is the alignment of, no matter if it's a Nike or a Jordan brand, saying, all right, Jordan brand, we got 10, 12 schools. Y'all about to have your own conference, and we about to get it in. We about to play.
They got the paper for it.
Hey, Greg, do me a favor. For some of the viewers, because we got people of all different viewerships, and we can actually talk about this a little bit more. If you want, you can break that down a little bit further so people know exactly what you're saying.
Got it. Okay, so let's look at this. So the PK80 was 2017,
17 or 18, something like
17. I want to say.
And what they did was, for Phil Knight's birthday, they basically invited the who's who of Nike college basketball, and it was one of the most exciting tournaments I've seen in my lifetime, because they legit had a game going on right here, and then the game was going on right across the street, and people was walking back and forth like, man, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know, and it's public knowledge. So, just with anything at the collegiate level, even when you look at shoe companies, it's tiers.
Absolutely.
Okay. You have people that are like they get regular deals, which they might get some comp product or they buying product. Then you got the ones that actually get the product. Then you got the ones that get paid to wear the product.
And everything in life there is hierarchy. Just
right. And just to kind of help people out so that they can kind of notice it is at the collegiate level, when you talk about the colleges that wear the swoosh, every college team that's won a national championship, they have what they call a diamond on their jersey. Okay. And their tags on their jerseys look 100 times different than everybody else's tags on the jersey. Everything is totally different. But those subtle things like that, it's like, if you know, you know, and if you know what that means.
Is it on the? I've never. Now that you said that, I've never. Is there like?
I see you, Ham.
Is it literally on the jersey, or like?
It's like right on the collar. It's like right here on the collar.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
And and it's on the collar, and then on the back of the jersey, so this is the funny part about this. The NBA does it too now.
That's where I noticed it first. That's where I noticed it first.
If you are an NBA champion, on the back of the collar of your jersey, it's like a gold square, kind of like a square, kind of that's like right on the back of it.
Yep.
At the collegiate level, if you won a national championship or whatnot, it's the color. It's like a platinum silver looking color, and it sits right on the back. I guess where your collar would be, right in the middle of your jersey.
I noticed it on Duke and Kentucky.
Yeah.
Just initially.
I have never noticed that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was
if you are a Nike program and you won a title, you have a certain color. If you are what they say, in that sits in that same tier, but you didn't win a title. It's a color, and then the ones it's a diamond. It's like a kind of like a diamond. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's right there, right in the middle.
Yeah, with the letter emblem in you. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that's all I would do.
I thought it was just a uniform modification, alterations.
That means something, man.
That's like a Purple Heart.
This is why I was saying at the beginning of the show.
Myra, you're absolutely right. You're right. Yeah.
This is why I was saying at the beginning of the show. This is why I brought my bag to get this game. It's like, come on, man. This the same dude, y'all, that told us in 2015 about Luka Doncic.
I got Luka. You see what he's doing out here? I told y'all about Luka when he was like 15 and 16.
He gave us the warning. And people still was like, they wanted to put that whole narrative of pale-skinned players and think that he wasn't like that. I'm like, do y'all know what Slovenia is? Y'all think y'all in the hood. Slovenia is no game.
Luka get it out the mud just like us and don't care.
At all.
And they got tight with me.
I don't know. Hey, you know what's so crazy? Have we, I'm trying to think, on previous episodes, did I explain how I got to know his father and them?
No.
No, go ahead and tell the story now.
Okay, so this is what happened. All right. I'm not
go
gonna
ahead,
say
G2. Handle it for us.
I'm not gonna say the name of the high school. But the head coach called me and he was like, G, I need you. I'm like, what's going on? He like, man, it's this kid. I'm like, is he like that? Because you don't call me normally about no kid and you just like, hey, I need you. So I'm like, what's up with him? He like, man, I think he's the one. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, what? Come on now, talk to me. He sent me a video of him, and I was like, okay. So then he was like, man, hey, here go his pop's number. Can you call him, please? I'm like, for the first time, I'm like, why you just say go call it? Like you are like Hall of Fame status type coach right now, right? Why you just? I need you to call. I'm like, man, I'm not about to call this man. Get on my World Handy WhatsApp app. I'm like, hello, sir, how you doing? My name is Greg Jones, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you know who I am. And he like, oh, man, how you doing? Sure, you can call me anytime. Get on the phone with him. I'm like, listen, I understand what your son has going on at Real Madrid, but would he be interested in coming here for high school? Like, would he, And he's like, I let Luka make all his decisions. Like he's legit been a pro since he's like 12, 13, right? So he's like, I help him, but that's his life. I'm like, okay, so what would it possibly like take to probably get him here or something? You know what I'm saying? Like for him to come here for high school and then college, right? What y'all think that number was for the buyout?
A milli more.
Times 4. I told the high school coach, Ali, you better go find you another 5-star kid here in the state. He ain't coming.
How old was he then?
14, 15. Like he ain't coming. Go find somebody else.
Here's the coldest part about that. That would have been a good flip.
Ooh.
Are you who you telling?
to get a kid like that for $4 million will still be a bargain. And that's how the game is crazy.
That's true.
I was like,
because it comes back threefolds. Not it don't come back in one time or two times. That's the type of investment that you make that comes back triple time. It happens within 18 months? Within 18 months.
And Jerm, this is what's scary. What's scary is that number that they told that high school, them clubs, if you tell them that number, they like, all right. Some of them clubs, not all of them.
Do you have Zale?
This game is about to get frosty. This game is about to get frosty.
Listen,
that's it.
Listen, I'm telling you,
Write a check.
I was like, hey, coach, hey man, go move on. Go find somebody else. This ain't. Let it be. That ain't it.
And in 2015, we were in the early stages of our group. because we talk about top young players in the group,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. The names are coming out. Greg was like, listen, this dude in Slovenia is playing in Spain. I promise you, all-star within 2 years of whenever he sets foot over here. Oh, he's lying. Oh, he's just telling them, okay.
And that's what's messed up about That's what's messed up about our group. We give y'all game, and y'all asking us for our credentials. Meanwhile, somebody else could say some sources and be completely wrong, and y'all still follow them.
Which is crazy because at the time, nobody here really still knew who he was. Nobody really knew who he was.
I had
like
never,
nobody.
When you said him, I honestly had never seen him play until you said it. And then I think I watched a EuroLeague game, on them random Sundays where it's like a EuroLeague game was on NBA TV, like 2 years later. I was like, oh, that's the kid Greg was talking about. I watched about 10 minutes of that.
That man dropping folks.
The same feeling I had about watching Luka for 10 minutes was the same feeling I had when I saw LeBron playing high school on ESPN for that first time. After about 10 minutes, it's like, yep. He's a savant. He's a savant.
As soon as you said it, I put him in the search engine. I'm like, oh man.
real. Like, man, hey, and don't care. Hey, you can get the whole clip. You want some of this too? You get the whole clip. You want some too?
I didn't share stuff like that. I would generally just share and try to put out. That's actually when I was like, no. I showed my pops.
Oh, for real?
I showed pops said, man, get this phone away from me, man.
Hey, I'm gonna be real, like with the Clippers, because the Clippers this year had that whole mean person persona in which, this is a suburban game now. So a lot of people ain't used to that in your face stuff. Mm-hmm. After what Luka did to him in Dallas, even though they lost, I think everybody else was comfortable playing the Clippers.
Oh yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that. Sure. I wholeheartedly believe that Denver was like, oh, this is just basketball. After what Luka did,
it showed the Clippers, oh, you bleed just like me, like I do.
He softened them up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So switching gears to the NCAA season that's upon us, and I know Greg, you got if you follow Greg, we're gonna definitely put out all his socials. Greg is pretty accurate on calling these Final Fours in November and December. To be honest, like I've known this man 5 years now. Followed him, and his preseason predictions tend to not be off. So G, coming into this very unpredictable season that we talked about and things sort of in flux, I've heard sort of two schools on this. One school of thought is the teams that are still together, all the cohesion, bringing a lot of people back from last year who were really good last year. That's kind of what you want to ride with going into this season. Then I've heard the theory of, well, this is the year of the quote-unquote dark horse or the team that comes out of nowhere. Which school are you kind of more leaning to as we head into this season?
I would say, okay, let's do this. My dark horse pick to get to the Final Four is Illinois.
I knew you was gonna say that.
That's my dark horse pick. I think this team could be just as good as that Luther Head, D. Brown, Ron Williams team that had that epic battle against Arizona. Like that, this team this year, they have like all the pieces. And I think Ayo is going to potentially be like a first-team All-American type of kid for him. He's that good. I think he's going to play himself into being a lottery pick, actually, at the end of this year. So I say Illinois is my dark horse. When you look at your traditional powers, over the last 5 years, the program that I'm like, you really can't bet against is the Nova boys. Like Jay Wright, I don't know, man. Listen, I don't know what they do in Philly. I have no idea.
I know.
Whatever it is he got going, and it's so crazy. He can take an average ball player and in 2 to 3 years morph them into an NBA draft pick.
It's incredible.
What Jay Wright has done, this is what Jay Wright has done. What Jay Wright has done, and this was after that one season in which they were really disappointed because they had all these McDonald's All-Americans and they ended up getting Ryan Arcidiato. After that, he said, I am going to double and triple down on toughness, on execution, and my system. Now you have to be a certain type of player to play at Villanova. Even though I can get the blue chippers, if you're not Villanova tough, I don't want you. And you know, shouts out to Jelly Fam Cat.
It's funny you mentioned that though. You know why? Because
what's that?
Who does Villanova like in the last five years? But who does Villanova remind you of? Just add now the amazing footwork that they teach. Who do they remind you of? Them Cincinnati, Bob Huggins Cincinnati team.
Oh yeah, Bob Huggins. No, I was gonna say the Miami Heat right now. It's like they're a gang. Like just we just tougher.
They're gritty. They're grimy. Everybody has a high IQ, and everyone's footwork is crazy. That's why people looked at Kyle Lowry and was like, "There's no way he gonna last this long in the NBA because he's chubby. He ain't the most athletic, but the dude can get anywhere on the court that he wants to."
And when you spoke on their toughness, and the first cats I thought about, Chris Jenkins, Eric Pascal, what's her name, Mari Spellman. My guy, who track? That's the guy me and Travis that remind us of Raymond from White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
Even Chenzo, like they just keep getting
right.
When you look at like the new way of Nova versus when you go back to Allen Ray, Randy Foy, Nardi,
right?
It's like for Villanova and Jay Wright to be what they are now, he had to go through that with them first.
Yep,
that's fair.
And now what he and what I tell people, and even in my line of business, it's going to take you a while. Once you develop a proof of concept, now you can monetize your proof of concept. Mm-hmm. And what he's doing right now at Villanova is he's cashing out at Nova because now every single year he has a draft pick coming out of Nova every year.
And you know something funny, and I'm going to get Trav involved. What's up, Trav? Thanks for joining us. I know you are balancing some things as well. What's so funny about it is you can tell it's like a process with them because the last 2 or 3 years, the first 2 or 3 games, they'll get blown out. Like get smacked to the point where people just write them off completely. But every time you get around game 12, game 13, when they start to settle in, when they start to really master that pick and roll and handoff, when the wing players start to slow down and really trust their footwork and trust their reads, every time you just start to look up and they 12-3. And
hey, you know what? To piggyback off of that, you know what else happens?
What's that?
When they first get to Nova, they sit and learn because a lot of them don't play right away.
Yep.
He will.
That's why Jelly Fam left.
Yep.
He will sit.
You're gonna sit and you're gonna learn. And the ones that can survive that and they stay through that, they getting paid. Every last one of them getting paid.
Yeah.
Look at what's a young Sadiq Bey, for instance.
Sadiq Bey, Mikal Bridges,
Pascal
Brunson.
Pascal.
If you stay at Villanova, we always talk about the knock of the 3-4 year player. Villanova is the opposite. If you stay
Hey, Ron, you on to something now. Come on now.
If you stay at Villanova,
if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. Villanova might be the only program.
If you stay at Villanova 2-3 years, you get paid.
They're a brand now. They're a brand now. And because now all of the playoff teams, when they pick, they like, we need a 3DA wing that we can trust to be able to deliver in the clutch. And all signs point to 2 schools right now, Florida State and Villanova.
Hey, Bunny, y'all seen the wire? Y'all see hey, Amsterdam is alive in Tallahassee. Y'all see what Bunny doing down there?
Hey, that man crazy. Hey, I like that though. Hey, G, I like that one, man. I like that right there.
You see it,
hey, you look like Buddy.
And that's my guy. Hey, I got recruited by Florida State when I was in high school. I don't know. Hey, man, Coach Leonard Hamilton is real.
That's the truth, man.
Proof of concept. He goes after the guys that fit his system, and he hits this button, he hits that button, and by the time they walk out of there, they getting drafted, making money.
Yep. And Florida State, unlike, Villanova, because they do it different, but it's still the same. Like Villanova, we're going to focus on footwork. We're going to focus on IQ. We're going to focus on shooting. Florida State, we're going to focus on defense. We're going to focus on athleticism. We're going to focus on length. Mm-hmm. And we're going to focus on skill work.
And all the points you made between both programs is what you need to be to survive in the NBA.
Boom.
Well, I guess we can end this early. No, I'm just.
No, we just cooking. We cooking now. So I do want to mention this too, and I'm gonna swing this over to Trav, get him involved. But the top 25 right now, 7 out of 14 of the Big Ten teams are in the top 25. Has that ever happened? But Trav, I want you to chime in on this. What are your thoughts on the Big Ten or any of these conferences since you seen the 25? Let me just name the 25 for the people who can't see it. They got Gonzaga 1, Baylor 2, Villanova 3, Virginia 4, Iowa 5, Kansas 6, Wisconsin 7, Illinois 8, Duke 9, hey, Kentucky 10.
Yeah. Want to share your screen, bro?
Oh, that will make – see? That's why you the GOAT.
I'm just saying, man, I got unlimited capabilities here. Let's not box ourselves in.
Y'all. I see y'all out here.
Hey, man,
I've been working.
Hey, G,
I've
man.
been working.
G, it's nothing. It's nothing. Don't worry.
Y'all been working.
Light.
Oh, man.
All right, so looking at this, y'all go ahead and talk to me, Trav. Talk to me, Trav. What's going on?
Scroll it down a little bit because I want to look for something real quick. I don't see them right now, and y'all was talking about the Big Ten, correct?
Right.
Yes, sir.
For some odd reason, watch Izzo put his funky tail up in there somewhere.
13. They right there.
Oh, they 13? Okay, I see it now. I see it. Watch he be top 5. Watch he end up top 5 somewhere. And I know y'all was talking about the 2 schools, Florida State, and Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan has that stay-at-home type program. I don't know about the getting paid part, but those guys do come up being pretty good and pretty decent besides Denzel Valentine, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay. I see that. I see your energy today. All right.
But Trav just come on shooting.
We're not going to talk about that now, but
man, Trav, you just watched the Gucci and Jeezy verses and stuff.
Better
hey, man, you playing that recent, you playing that old stuff. I'm playing that recent stuff. But yes, Michigan State. Keep a lookout on that team. Keep a lookout on them.
Ham, jump in. We ain't heard from you around there. Big shot.
You know what? Even like around the rankings, Monday was supposed to be the start of Peace Week. Where we got tournaments in South Dakota? What is going on, G? Give me some. That's your explanation because Peace Week is my favorite week.
Okay, so what's going on right now is some of the event directors are having events in states where if you go to that state and play, you have to quarantine for 14 or whatever days. Okay. And a lot of the colleges is like, well, we're not playing that game if we got to it doesn't make sense to play one game to quarantine when we could play 5 or 6 games and be fine. So people are now backing out of some of these events, like they move into like South Dakota. I think Indianapolis is still emerging as one of the locations for Feast Week. And then I don't know if y'all saw they're saying that the NCAA tournament might be bubble style in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think, not to cut you off, Brad, I think they moved the Coaches Classic. Well, they scheduled the Coaches Classic for like I think the first week of December in Indianapolis. They already had a Coaches Classic. I think, to your point though, I think if that goes well, I think that one city NCAA tournament thing is probably gonna happen. I just think, first of all, logistically, I don't know if you could be able to do multi-site tournaments. So I think the classic to me is like the test to how does this, to see how well this goes. And if it goes well, Indianapolis, I think they'll get it.
Right.
That's just my thought on that.
No, that's true. What it comes down to is no one wants to be the first person over the hill. So everyone is trying to prolong the inevitable of, if this is what we're going to do, someone has to go first. And that's hard to say when you're talking about the amount of lives that are being affected by this, right? But we do know at some point we have to try to find some normalcy within this as much as we can, because if we don't, people a lot of people, we know the physical ailments that come from COVID. I don't think people talk more enough about the mental things that are coming out of this pandemic, right? As human beings, we're not created nor built to be by ourselves, right? Like that's just not what this is. And you see how a lot of people mentally are struggling with this right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they're going to, do a trial and error, see how it goes. If it's a hit or success, a couple more people are going to feel a little more comfortable, and then you're going to see some other things start to pop up. I'm just interested to see which teams are going to be extremely transparent and what's going on, and which teams are going to be like, yeah, we rolling right now. We not stopping. We not telling. We ain't saying.
What my whole big worry about this is that it just don't finish. Like, that's my biggest worry. They started, and then they just realized that they can't keep control of the state, because unless we know the blueprint. The blueprint is the bubble. But are they willing to, get a bubble, and how are you going to fit 30 some odd schools in the bubble, or even 67? Like, so now you go on the top 20, and now who do you pick in that top 20? Then it becomes extremely political, unless you're going to have like 12 bubbles in America floating around. So it's like that's my worry.
I know they threw the ideal around with the NCAA tournament being Indy, that they might use like Mackey Arena. They might use other facilities within 45 minutes to an hour or some change away from Indianapolis. And in Indiana, I guess we're just fortunate enough that we have enough venues to kind of host this. It's going to be interesting, because at the end of the day, and like I said, people can say the amateur word all they want. Them kids are not amateurs, and the NCAA can't afford to miss out on back-to-back tournaments.
And to me, G, that's the bottom line of all this. We cannot lose 2 straight years of billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. It can't happen. Yeah. So if these,
and I'm gonna tell you what happens if it does happen. Somebody's going to come around, and they're going to be like, okay, the same thing that they're doing with clubs in high school, we're going to do it with clubs in college. I mean, TBT already built for it. TBT already ready for it, kind of. All they got to do is just say, we won't pay you at the end, you'll win a trophy.
No, they already got it, though. It's so crazy. They already have it. I mean, no matter if y'all was doing it in college or people, how many of y'all know about intramural sports? All you're going to do is change the name and say, okay, this is whatever, and now the D1 kids at the school playing on the intramural team.
Mm-hmm. This game is about to get extremely political, because the people who know the right people are about to dictate this game. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: if I knew the GM of the Bulls and I knew the GM of the Knicks, and then I run to Greg, and Greg know the GM of the Warriors, and he know the GM of the Lakers, and Ham know the GM of the Rockets, and we get together and we be like, look, this is what we're gonna do. We just gonna go ahead and handpick the best 19-year-olds, and we're gonna throw them on the court and let them play, and we just gonna let them watch from Zoom.
Because we plugged, we got product, Chief.
Which I might say, let me give a shout out to Coach Cal for having that pro day. Oh, he's so pimping. Man, listen.
Yeah.
Coach Cal probably the only coach that's going to get his kids in the lottery without even having to play.
Crazy. But it's all about thinking outside of the box and understanding. Like, this is what I tell people. If you could be transparent and real with yourself about what this really is, you're going to sleep better at night.
I swear you.
If you keep trying to lie to yourself about what this really is when we talking about basketball at the collegiate level, that's when you're going to have problems.
Right.
Coach Cal, a long time ago, figured this thing out and said, "Man, listen."
With DeJuan Wagner, he figured it out.
This is the transaction. I'm giving you a scholarship to come play for me. You help me win basketball games. Okay. You make your money at the next level. I get an extension here in Lexington. Do we have a deal?
That's simple. Just from walking in the gym and they like, go get him.
That's it.
We like him. Go get him.
And me personally, if I had a son or a daughter that was playing right now at the high school level and a coach came in that way, oh no, that's where you going to school, because they real. They let it all on the table. I don't need no smoke and mirrors. I don't need any gimmicks. I don't need none of that. Just tell me what it is.
And this is what makes him even more impressive. What makes him even more impressive is, even if you're not that blue chip guy that was going to probably make it, whether you went to my school or somebody else, let's say you're Nick Richards. I'm going to teach you the exact way to be able to play this game to where you will eventually get a contract, because they won't be able to deny you, because you're going to learn everything that you need to know about how to be a pro basketball player in the NBA level. And lo and behold, it's not a shocker that he got picked at Charlotte. And I will not be surprised if he get meaningful minutes, because he does all the things that you need your backup big to do.
Right. But that's big though, because you just said something really key, because at the end of the day, when the individuals are behind the computer screens and looking at numbers and analytics, the thing that always rises to the top is, what's your DNA of what college you came from, or who did you play for in college? Because at the end of the day, when you know that, you know they're going to rise to the occasion because it's in them. Because if it wasn't in them, they wouldn't have been at Lexington. They wouldn't have been at Villanova. They wouldn't have been wherever they were doing their college years.
And G, to that point, this is what we talk about this on our pre-draft show with Kentucky players. Don't worry about what the stats look like. Don't worry about it. Don't look at points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game. Don't look at none of that. I understand if that man was getting 25 minutes a night for Cal, it's there.
That's it.
And you know something? It's a lot of schools now that's following that blueprint. I mean, Duke has always been there. Kansas, we know the Blue Blood's been there. But here are 3 schools that I'm naming that I've been looking closely at it. I'm like, oh, y'all quietly following the same blueprint. Texas Tech. Okay. Look at the last 4 years. Somebody always went from Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Here's another one for you. This is a easy one, but it might not be so easy if you've been under a rock. Memphis. And what's about to happen, it ain't happened yet, but it will, because if you notice, they had the #1 recruiting in 2021, Michigan. What DeJuan Howard doing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention 2 names to y'all, and I want to get everyone's opinion on these two names, right? One I know personally, the other one I kind of know, but I don't know how the one I know personally, I know how he gets it done. The other one, it's interesting because he's kind of like a enigma within college basketball, but he always keeps a lottery pick. The one I know, Eric Musselman. The one I kind of understand, gotta kind of know, Tom Crean.
Yeah.
Explain to me, because and I'm saying those two because they're both in the same conference now. And Arkansas had a player get drafted. And Musselman got about 4 or 5 kids down there right now in Arkansas that can get up out of there in the next year or 2. Tom Crean keeps him a guard that gets drafted.
Shooting guard.
Did Musselman? He spent some time on
Nevada, the Twins.
Right?
Say that again.
Then Eric Musselman was an NBA assistant, wasn't he? A couple
Eric
was
times.
a
Musselman was an
head
NBA
coach.
head coach.
He was in Golden
Well.
State, and I think
When Golden State
Denver.
was starting to turn it around and they was becoming excited, he was the coach at Golden State.
And when he Melo first coach in Denver.
He was, man. Eric must been around, man.
He been around.
Even what people don't know, he's the one that ignited Jeremy Lin.
That wasn't him. That was at Denver. That was Jeff Besdelic. That's my fault.
Yeah, but see, Muss.
You're right about Muss.
Muss is one of those guys. Like it's in his DNA. His father, who his father was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then it was him. Like, man, I know I used to get on his nerves a couple years ago. Man, we would just be texting, and I'm asking him all type of questions, man. Because the dude is just like, you know who he is? It's how it's crazy how we draw comparisons from different spectrums of different industries. Eric Musselman is like the Tony Stark of college basketball.
I can see that.
He has a certain way he does things. He's able to tap into kids from all walks of life. And everywhere he's been, he's put kids in the draft. Even when he was a associate head coach at Arizona State, when he was associate coach at LSU, when he took over at Nevada, and now Arkansas. If you go back and look at the stops he's had since he's been at the college level, he sends people to the draft every single time.
Mm. Yeah. Mm. All right, so we had about this 5 minutes. So final 4 picks. We're gonna go first because we really don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I can't speak on y'all behalf. I'm gonna speak on my behalf. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna make it.
I'm rolling with
I'm gonna try.
I'm rolling with whatever G said.
It's an easy cop out, but it's like, yo, I'm so far removed from college because it feels like it's been an eternity since we had any.
That's
basketball.
Okay, so who's going first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So I'm just off of this list. I am going to go Kentucky. I'm going to go Baylor. I am going to go Virginia because they can really defend. And I'm also going to go West Virginia because they're like a gang. They remind me a lot of Miami. They just going to fight you for the whole game. And I think that system that Bobby Huggins got over there, I think the fact that he's able to keep his same guys for another year, I think that's going to pose a lot of hell on a lot of people because they are relentless in their style of play. If they're making their threes, look out. I think they could beat anybody.
I could throw 4 just from out this top 25 that I just because I want to. Texas Tech, just because Chris Beard got a bunch of young dudes. They're going to be dogs by the time they get to about February. Jay Wright and Villanova for reasons we all listed earlier. Illinois, just because, my Illinois peeps, why not? And scroll down one more. I was just looking at one. My man Remy Martin at Arizona State, just because his name is Remy Martin. He run the park.
Jared, so true. Tell him what to do. You gotta take that mute off though.
I'm sitting here talking to myself low key right now, trying to think if I even want to attempt to try this right now.
Shoot yourself.
So I'm gonna take Villanova. Give me, scroll up a little bit. I think I seen. Give me Big Blue Nation. Give me Kansas because I just feel, I don't know, something that's attracted me to Kansas this year.
Okay.
And then I just give me Coach K just because it's Coach K, man.
Can't go wrong with none of those picks. He just went blue blood out.
I'm trying to.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
I didn't realize it was all blue. I should have put on a blue Ball U hoodie.
Now you should.
Oh man, I didn't realize.
Trav, who you got, man? Trav, who you got? Trav ain't on. I'm sorry. Greg, go ahead and tell us the people since Ronnie said he's just gonna copy your list.
Right.
Man, I'm going to say Looking at this list, I'm rolling with Nova. Illinois is a dark horse. I don't know what it is, but it's something about Rick Barnes down there at Tennessee.
Hey, they got Kennedy Chandler over there too. He's smooth.
It's just something about Tennessee. I don't know. It's okay, I got one better. I'm gonna say Villanova for sure. I believe it's gonna be 2 Big Ten teams that are gonna make it to the Final Four.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna go with the dark horse in Illinois. I never bet against Izzo because I don't know how this works. Early in the year, they always start off getting punched around, and by the time conference tournament comes around,
every time
conference tournament, like number 1 seed in the conference tournament, and then they end up being like 25-3. And it's like, fam, how y'all just run off like 25? Like y'all just lost the first 3 games, and then they just run them off.
They get better like a football team.
Right. I don't know how they do that. It's crazy. So I would say Nova, Illinois, Michigan State, and can y'all scroll down a little bit? Let me see if I want to take somebody off the list. Hey, that Houston team gonna be tough. That backcourt is gonna remind people of St. Joe's when they had Delonte West.
Yeah. Houston got they got early 2000s backcourt. They got
man, they gonna get to it. That might be.
That's really, matter of fact, take anybody of the other 3 that I just named. That's really who I was looking for too.
Man, that Houston team gonna be woo.
Yeah, they legit, man.
Okay, can I name 5 teams?
Yeah, name 5.
Go ahead.
So we got Nova, Illinois, Michigan State, Houston, and I just learned not to bet against him. And with the class he has, man, Bunny down at Florida State. Because he got a kid. He got a kid this year on that wing.
He always have a kid.
No. He's always had. He got one of them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That young man that was at Mount Vert last year that they said arguably is the best high school team ever. That young man is in Tallahassee now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'll give you the team on the top of the list that concerns me.
Okay.
And they concern me this because I just have an issue. It's the same issue I had with Virginia a couple years ago when they got knocked out by UMBC.
I already know what you're going to say, too.
It's Baylor.
Yeah, I do it.
The issue I have with Baylor is, and we've all watched tournaments forever.
Yeah.
All it takes is one scoring drill.
Once you get up on them?
That's all it takes. And Baylor, every time the games I've watched Baylor play, they play unbelievable defense. They organized. I will never say that. But when they played Kansas, I watched them play Kansas last year.
Right.
In Waco. 2 droughts. And in the NCAA tournament, in a one and done situation, all you need is 2. And Baylor has too many droughts for me.
Yeah. Baylor is
But they have the guard play. They check up. They're well coached. They do the things that you would like, but boy, them droughts.
So okay. Obviously the droughts, right? Obviously the droughts about Baylor. But what is it about Baylor that it's like?
For me, they suffer from Syracuse-itis. You got all them athletes and you run zone.
Hey, that's good.
Hey,
you run zone with all them athletes.
And G, know it also is, and Germ, shout out to a Moab football guy, and I know G's a Patriots fan. We've seen Kansas win this thing too many times.
They just figure it out, don't they?
They just find a way to win. They always find a way to win.
That's why I picked them. I don't know how else to say it. Some of these are schools that we pick in here that they just find a way to win. They all are going to defend, and they all just end up with good players.
We sit here every year and say, Kansas ain't winning the Big 12 this year.
Yeah.
Kansas ain't gonna win the Big 12 this year. guess what happens? If they don't win the regular season, they win the conference tournament. So they
co-champions.
Or they co-champions.
They've done it like 16, 17 years in a row.
So Kansas is like they like the Patriots of the Big 12. Show me when they beat me, I want to see the body.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, so staying on the Big 12, right? What do y'all think? What do y'all think about Shaka Smart this year in Texas?
I think Shaka. This is the team that this is the team that's supposed to be the team.
So this is his VCU that got him on the map team.
From everything that I've read about them early, this is his team. This is the best team he's gonna have in Texas the entire time.
They're in the poll to start.
And I'll say this about him. If we just talked about all of these other these teams in which they said they doubled and tripled down on culture. The culture that Shaka Smart built in VCU, if they just allow him to build that in Texas, it's going to get real.
Yeah, are they in the top 25 to start though?
MJ, you know
that's a big if though.
You know what's crazy about you saying that?
What's that?
Look at what Anthony Grant doing at Dayton right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Obi Toppin to me, and it's crazy how this works. Obi Toppin to me, that's Larry Sanders at VCU.
Shout out big Larry Sanders.
Yeah.
That's him. That's what he is. And it's crazy how when you look at the coaching trees, the tree Shaka Smart comes from, the tree Anthony Grant comes from, they come from that Billy Donovan, which comes from Pitino.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fraternity, and it's a family coaching tree. But if you haven't noticed, they all go after the exact same type of kids, and they have success with them because somebody had a proof of concept at one point when they all were there as assistant coaches, and then that's how they got on as head coaches. And I'm gonna stick to what I know.
Yep.
Because if you look at Texas roster right now, look at that roster and look who looks like Obi Toppin or Larry Sanders on that roster right now.
Click on it. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to do some research. Who is it? Because I don't know who's on Texas.
No, you got to answer it right now. Just look at that roster when you get a chance, and you'll see.
Okay.
So before we get out of here, and we want to thank again, Greg, man, you was more than generous with your time. Number one, the conversation, unbelievable. Plug all your socials. This is the shameless promotion segment.
Oh man, hey, I appreciate y'all letting me in the palace today.
Hey,
you need no invite.
Just let me. I just appreciate letting me in. Everyone, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at 1GJones2. On Facebook, you can go just type in G2 Hoops LLC. That'll pop up. I try to interact with everyone. So if you got any comments, thoughts, messages, whatever the case is, I try to interact, get back with people. Try to have just conversations on social media as well, just to get people engaged and having just thought-provoking, just conversations, really, So yeah, follow me at 1GJones2. And like I said, fellas, I appreciate y'all having me on today.
Hey, plug the tournament too. Tournament.
Okay, yeah. So next weekend, November 28th, we have the turkey tip-off. Because of COVID, we had to kind of shrink it down, so it'll be 3 games. The games are at Gary Thea Bowman. They'll be live streamed on SUVTV.com because tickets are now only just for immediate family. So you can watch the games at SUVTV.com. And hey, I expect to have some good games. It's 3 games. It's 2 boys high school games, 1 girls game. They should be very exciting. And like I said, that's the first one. We're going to postpone, or I should say cancel the Hoops for Pink tournament this year because of what's going on. And then we'll be back the beginning of the year with the Mac Drugs Invitational, which this year is probably what it actually is the most local schools we've ever had play in this event.
Nice.
Nice, man.
So,
Doing it for the region, man.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta do one shameless plug.
Go ahead.
For my girl, because hey, Dana Evans, Player of the Year. Player of the Year. I understand everybody got their favorites. Everybody rocking with UConn or somebody else. That dog in Louisville is Player of the Year.
Hey, and this is another.
She's trained with G2 and Ball U Academy.
Yes, she has.
Yes, this is another.
Therefore, she's ours. You know,
Preseason All-American. I don't know if y'all saw, like, they had the Zoom call with the other. It was all 5 preseason All-Americans.
Yeah.
And Ryan Howard says on tour, like, "Oh yeah, we don't get a chance to beat y'all." She's like, "I'm 3-0 versus you," and she was clapping back, and I'm like, "She from the G. That's what she do." We don't play no games. College Player of the Year, top 5 draft pick.
Yeah, she got it. she got it. And this is another. You talk about this, the circle of life and how this all comes together. When I first started working at the 9 to 5, MJ told me about her early.
8th grade.
Like, I'm training this 8th grade girl.
Mm-hmm.
Man, let me tell you how cold she is, and she like taking charges. She loves taking charges. Yeah. She like, charges are fun. I'm like, who the hell talking about charges are fun?
She was playing against a high school dude, and he kept trying to over athletic her. Like, you know how you just try to like just jump through and go through people. I told her like this. I'm like, okay, he's out of control because he think he just gonna strong arm you. As soon as you see them do that, just stand in front of him, cover your womanhood, take it right in the chest, fall and slide. As soon as she did it, she's like, that was fun. 8th grade.
Okay, before we go, man, they gonna kill me. I gotta mention some other ones. I got 3 young ladies. I got 3 young ladies this year at St. John's. They gonna make some noise with Big East. When you see them, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. They get on that court, like, oh, they about their business. They real. So I got 3 at St. John's. That's Emma Nolan, Sophia Nolan, Sarah Zabrecki. I got a shout out one of the young ladies at Oregon, Sydney Parrish.
Mm-hmm.
One of the arguably one of the top players to ever come out of Indiana. She's a freshman this year out of Hamilton Southeastern. So those I got some other names, but I'm gonna hold on to them because I can't get everybody. But
we gonna bring you back when the women start playing, and we're gonna let you talk.
Yeah, because like I tell people, I say, like, I got in the game on the men's side, and I'm heavily on the men's side, but I help the young ladies because they don't have a lot of the outlets as the men. So I try to, do as much as I can. And I guess this is a coincidence now. A lot of people see me be more vocal and visible on the women's because they need it. You know what I'm saying? Like on the men's, it's a whole bunch of different outlets. So I try to help out as much as possible. But like I said, Dana Evans, College Player of the Year this year, and she's gonna win ACC Player of the Year again too.
You heard it first. G, thank you for being on the show, man. We will definitely have you back once this thing really gets moving to talk about more about the women's game and just kind of where we stand in that as far as the predictions and how things have gone, man. So before we close out, y'all, of course, shameless promotion. Why not? Instagram, capital THE, period, SCEN, the scene. Twitter heads, SCEN _ THE, scene _ the. And of course, if you're watching the YouTube, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe, notifications on. We are going to be back this evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, day 1 of the NBA. There apparently have been some things that are already shaking and moving already. We're going to talk about that. So tune back in, y'all. This has been a hectic couple of days, but this is why we're here. We love it. Ron, MJ, Germ, Ham, Trav, our special guest Greg, 94 Feet of Life.